Tonight on CTV News, Broadway business blues.
Vehicle traffic will be temporarily detoured around the block where the work is taking place.
How long will a key intersection be closed as the Broadway subway construction nears the end of the line?
Over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
Furor over a free trade ad. The Ontario Premier's flip-flop after a chat with the Prime Minister. What BC is planning in the trade war.
April the 26th was the darkest day in the history of Vancouver.
A class action lawsuit has been launched by a man injured in the deadly Lapu-Lapu attack. Why he says the tragedy could have been prevented.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with another blow for businesses impacted by the Broadway subway construction. The province has revealed that part of Broadway will be closed to traffic for months. It could be the death knell for businesses struggling to survive a project that has already taken longer than it should have. CTV's Yasmin Gandam is live at Main and Broadway. Yasmin, it's a busy corner and not the news businesses wanted to hear.
The area is already very congested here, Mijung, as you can see with that SkyTrain construction underway. 60% of business spaces here are already sitting vacant, and now the province is set to close an entire block along this corridor starting next year. This already busy block from Maine to Quebec will be closed for approximately 4 months starting in January, with a detour around the block.
No delay to the project in terms of time. I'm cutting the disruption time in half in terms of removing the bridge decks.
The closure is for crews to tear down a traffic deck, a temporary bridge in place since the start of the project.
Everything about this means less business for my businesses. People will be avoiding the area.
There's 10 businesses here. We're all trying to make a go for it. What does a 4-month road detour around us mean? I have no idea.
Once reopened, it will then be limited to 1 lane in each direction for a further 4 months. But the province says pedestrian access will remain open.
By doing it this way, the impact time will be cut in half. That's extremely important. And at the same time, we're also ensuring that the access to their businesses by pedestrians will not be closed.
But it's an added hit to business owners that are already struggling to keep their doors open.
It just is going to make things trickier, and I think the perception is that the area will be more difficult to get to.
One of my businesses called me yesterday and was asking the differences between personal bankruptcy and business bankruptcy. So these are tough decisions that some of these businesses are facing.
The nearly $3 billion Broadway extension is still behind schedule. Originally supposed to finish this year, it's set to open in the fall of 2027.
So far, the additional 2-year delay wasn't something that they were expecting. And again, this is just dogpiling on top of that.
Now, many business owners that I spoke to aren't even convinced that this will be a 4-month detour. They expect that it could be even longer than that. So a lot of uncertainty with traffic expected to get even worse in January. Mijung?
So Yasmin, a huge change for that busy intersection. But what about all the other Broadway stations? Will there be closures there too?
That's a bit of a question mark, Mijung. Now, the province says plans are still in the works for removing traffic decks at the 4 other sites. Now, they have not ruled out the possibility of a similar road closure detour scenario as what we are going to see along here. This would be at blocks above Broadway City Hall, Oak VGH, South Granville, and Arbutus. So we may even see further disruptions down the road here. Mijung?
Thank you, Yasmin. Canada's trade war with the U.S. has taken an unexpected turn with Donald Trump announcing talks are off. thanks to a TV ad paid for by Ontario's government. The twist has exposed American grievances with Canada's negotiating tactics and prompted even more uncertainty. As CTV's Penny Daflos reports, the Prime Minister is seeking new trade partners as BC plans for ads of its own.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports.
This is the $75 million TV ad that enraged America's president with the words of a predecessor.
Over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
That prompted a late-night social media post from Donald Trump declaring all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated.
For months, we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is airing the ad in the U.S. to counteract Trump's claims.
The president is going to continue to double and triple down on this idea that somehow tariffs actually work when it's only Donald Trump himself that believes that.
Certainly no surprise to me that the president has this on and off switch for trade talks.
Trump had previously called off talks in July, and there are hints this isn't just about the ad.
I think the frustration has built up over time. I've been involved in some of these negotiations, and the Canadians have been very difficult to negotiate with.
The opposition is blaming the Prime Minister for not closing a deal.
Mr. Carney's elbows have gone missing. This has forced premiers to run their own campaigns to fill the void that Mark Carney's broken promise has left behind.
The provinces seem to see it as more of a team approach.
If you throw a rock at a lake and you don't hear a splash, you've probably missed. So to my good friend Doug Ford, keep the ads on TV.
Quite frankly, we, the provinces, the government, have a responsibility to talk to the American citizens directly. It's our responsibility to ensure they understand that tariffs have an impact on us, but it also has an impact on them.
The Prime Minister is now on a trade mission to Asia, leaving the door open.
We stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions.
After a conversation with Carney, Ontario's Premier says he'll pull the ad on Monday after it runs during World Series games.
The way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation.
And Penny joins us now. Penny, BC's Premier and Jobs Minister say they're going to launch their own ads. Now, given the blowback from the Ontario campaign, can we expect a softer approach from them?
Yes, and actually this afternoon, the Premier gave a little sneak peek on social media. He says these digital ads, much like this one, will launch next month, focused on supporting our forestry sector. The real irony of all this, of course, is that President Trump's reaction has generated a lot of interest, getting even more eyeballs than ever on the Reagan ad and the message from an iconic figure in the Republican Party, Mijang.
That's a good point. He probably didn't think about that. All right, thanks, Penny.
You bet.
After a long stretch of dry, mild weather, fall has arrived in full force across Metro Vancouver. Strong winds and steady rain have caused scattered power outages and travel delays today as the first major storm system in weeks sweeps across the south coast.
Vancouver right now for October is seeing around 47% of its normal. So these next few systems will push that up closer to normal periods. But what we don't want is we don't want too much rain or too much wind all at once.
Meteorologists say the transition from dry to stormy conditions is a double-edged sword. Welcome rain, but coming all at once after months of drought. The dry soil and brittle vegetation across the region have made trees more vulnerable, and that's created added challenges for BC Hydro crews responding to outages.
A lot of them are really brittle, and the soils are quite dry from the years of extended drought that we've had. So there are potential for more outages because of the trees and the fact that we haven't had a huge wind event yet.
At the peak of the winds this morning, about 1,900 customers lost power across the Lower Mainland. Officials are reminding people to secure loose items outdoors, report downed lines, and have an emergency kit ready in case the next wave of storms moves in this weekend. Stormy weather left a trail of destruction along a Northern Island highway, cutting off the remote community of Winter Harbor. The landslide left 8 people stranded on the road. They had to be rescued by a military helicopter, but they escaped unharmed.
If you're stuck in a remote area on a small road or remote road and there's mudslide around you, who knows when the next mudslide is going to come? And it's raining. They don't have food. We don't know what kind of shelter they have, so that's why they got evacuated.
The storm triggered wind and rainfall warnings as well as flood watches across the southern island. In some parts, wind speeds reached up to 130 kilometers per hour, knocking out power for many people. For residents near that landslide on the North Island, the lights may stay out for days. You're looking at a live shot of a drive, Robson Street Drive for now. It's 6:09. Anne is here. It's time to probably cover up the patio furniture or put it away.
Yes, definitely, and especially the loose portions of your patio. So yes, a dry break from a couple of systems moving its way in. So here's a look at the maximum wind gusts that we saw overnight last night into this morning. 67 kilometers an hour for Tofino, 72 for Comox, 45 for Victoria. It was strong for Point Atkinson at 70 kilometers an hour. At the airport, we saw 52 kilometer an hour wind gusts. Tawasin at 48, Hope at 50, Abbotsford at 48 kilometers an hour. So it's going to be another wet weekend ahead. Rain tomorrow once again, 15 to 25 millimeters expected, and wind gusts up to about 50 kilometers an hour as we head through the afternoon. Slowly tapering off as we head into Sunday. We'll see some showers and some sunny breaks, but cool temperatures between 10 and 11.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Explore the endless possibilities at one of our 36 BC locations. Learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And I know it's still a week away, but it's going to be soggy for Halloween. I've got your full forecast coming up.
You've already declared that right now?
I'm hoping it'll change, but I'm saying as of right now, you will need a coat.
All right, thanks, Anne. A BC billionaire has hit a wall in her fight to secure Hudson Bay properties. Today, an Ontario court ruled against Ruby Liu, who spent the summer fighting to move in. CTV's Craig Krause is following this in the Breaking News Center. Craig, what have you learned?
Well, Mijang, a Superior Court judge says landlords of the 25 properties Liu was looking to acquire do not have to accept her as a tenant. So the judge explained that he largely agrees with landlords who doubted Liu could meet the obligations of the leases. The group of landlords included Cadillac Fairview, Oxford Properties, and Ivanhoe Cambridge, and they were opposed to Liu buying the leases for more than $69 million. They described Liu as an inexperienced retail entrepreneur and said her plan to open at least 20 spaces within 180 days of getting those leases was unrealistic. As for Liu, she maintains that the 3 malls she owns, including Tawasin Mills, proves that she has what it takes to launch a new department store. She said the landlords were battling her because she is an outsider and not their preferred tenant. Mijang?
Interesting twist there. Thank you, Craig. A man accused of stabbing 3 people at a Vancouver Chinatown festival 2 years ago has been found not criminally responsible due to a mental disorder. The attack itself sparked concerns over how some psychiatric patients are managed in the community. A warning, some of the video may be disturbing for some viewers. CTV's Ben Nesbitt has more from BC Supreme Court in Vancouver.
There was no dispute that it was Blair Donnelly who attacked 3 people with a chisel on September 10th, 2023. The case ultimately came down to his mental state at the time. The judge sided with the defense, saying the court does not convict people of crimes for being sick. Donnelly, now 66, was on a day pass from the Colony Farm Psychiatric Hospital in Port Coquitlam, where he's been held since 2008 after being found not criminally responsible for killing his teenage daughter. Video captured Donnelly on his bike at various points between the hospital and downtown Vancouver. He said his plan was originally to go to Waves Coffee Shop in Coquitlam, but that God prompted him to go to Chinatown. Court heard he stopped at a Home Depot and purchased the chisel, which he says he bought instead of a knife because he thought God had wanted him to hurt someone but not kill them. Donnelly says when he eventually arrived at the festival, he took his time scoping out possible victims before ultimately going through with it, stabbing 2 women and 1 man. Part of the attack captured here. Donnelly can then be seen running away along East Pender Street, but was arrested shortly after and brought to the police station for questioning.
These people now are terrified to leave their house. They are absolutely petrified that if they go out on the streets that something like this is going to happen to them again. Can I tell them that it's not going to happen to them again?
I don't know the future.
Donnelly was facing 3 counts of aggravated assault. A psychiatrist who testified at the trial in September said his most recent diagnosis was schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type. Justice Eric Guittardi said he was convinced that Donnelly was incapable of knowing what he was doing was morally wrong at the time. His lawyer feels this incident was avoidable.
If mental health facilities are properly funded, this kind of thing is unlikely to happen.
Donnelly will remain at the psychiatric hospital where he'll continue to be monitored by the review board. His next hearing is scheduled for December. Ben Nesbitt, CTV News, Vancouver.
An Ottawa man is facing charges in a year-long immigration fraud investigation, and police believe there may be victims in BC's 2 largest cities. Ottawa police say 35-year-old Vinay Paul Singh Brar posed as an immigration consultant and defrauded multiple people. They believe there have been many victims across the country, including in Vancouver and Surrey. Brar is facing charges including fraud over $5,000, assault, and uttering threats. He allegedly used 5 aliases, including Gagandeep Singh and Warisdeep Singh. Anyone with information is asked to contact Ottawa Police or Crime Stoppers. A class action lawsuit has been filed in connection with the deadly ramming attack at Vancouver's Lapu Lapu Festival in April. CTV's Martin McMahon has more, with the City of Vancouver and Vancouver Coastal Health named among the defendants.
Make no mistake about it, April the 26th was the darkest day in the history of Vancouver.
It was an attack which left 11 people dead and many others injured at Vancouver's Lapu Lapu Festival. Now, nearly 6 months later, a man who was there has filed a class action lawsuit against the City of Vancouver, Vancouver Coastal Health, and Kaiji Adam Lowe, the man accused of carrying out the attack. John Lind is the plaintiff. He has suffered serious injuries as a result of the attack, according to the statement of claim. That includes PTSD, rib fractures, a punctured spleen and lung, a kidney laceration, and more. The suit makes a range of allegations, including that the city knew or ought to have known unlawful entry was reasonably foreseeable. The claims against Vancouver Coastal Health relate to Lowe, who suffers from schizophrenia, alleging he was allowed to be out on leave despite a significant history of mental health interactions and worsening mental health. In a September report, the city and its police department largely stood by the preparations for the event.
There's not a single city on the planet that can eliminate all risk all the time. But what we can do is plan smarter, act faster.
The report called for the feds and province to pass standardized event safety legislation.
When you standardize public safety events, you create a basement or a platform where, you know, the bar is set higher. It's consistent across the province. With that can come funding.
Lowe is charged with 11 counts of murder and 31 counts of attempted murder. A judge declared him fit to stand trial last month. And in terms of this class action lawsuit, it hasn't been certified at this point. The named defendants have 21 days to challenge the allegations, which have not been proven in court. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
And Vancouver Coastal Health find themselves on the receiving end of a lawsuit over the 2023 death of a Canadian senator's son. The lawsuit accuses VCH of negligence in the November 2023 death of Benjamin Marks Wu. The claim says Wu suffered from mental illness and was committed at Vancouver General as an involuntary patient in August of 2023. The lawsuit claims Wu was let out for a cigarette break and a proper search was not conducted before his body was found 4 days later on hospital grounds. An emotional tribute to a well-respected firefighter who died from cancer. Also ahead, bravery in action, honoring those who risk their lives to help, like a man who jumped in to help a truck driver ejected after colliding with a train. That's ahead. They are people who, in moments of danger, choose to step forward, not back. And a group of these courageous people from across the province were honored in Surrey this afternoon for their acts of bravery and life-saving efforts. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has more.
From ordinary citizens to police officers going above the call of duty, 23 people were recognized at today's event. In a special ceremony, the Royal Canadian Humane Association awarded recipients with medals either bronze, silver, or gold for acts of bravery. Surrey's Chief Constable told the honorees that they remind everyone that heroes walk among us. The event marked the first time that gold medals have been awarded by the association in at least 3 decades. Among those receiving one, Cody Vernon, who risked his life to help a truck driver ejected after his vehicle collided with a train in Maple Ridge last August.
Found him right up next to the burning truck. So everyone's yelling, stay away from the truck. It's going to blow up. Stay away, stay away. And I'm thinking to myself, well, don't really want this guy to die.
Also recognized were 3 Surrey police officers who helped to bring 8 people, including seniors, to safety after a home caught fire in June.
After we booted the door down, we went inside and there was some smoke inside. We saw some elderly people going towards the flames in the front of the house. We directed them to come to the back where it was safer. One of the ladies there, she fell on the ground, so we had to pick her up and carry her outside the house.
The recipients were told that their actions have inspired others to do better. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Surrey.
Vancouver firefighters honored one of their own today with an emotional funeral service downtown. VFRS paid respects to the family of Acting Battalion Chief Sean Boland, who died after a courageous battle with occupational cancer. Boland joined Vancouver Fire back in 1999, dedicating more than 2 decades to the service. Fire Chief Karen Fry posted on Instagram saying she had the honor of presenting Boland with a pair of medals just prior to his death. Scary sticker shock, how families are cutting back this Halloween. Also ahead.
We need more teaching assistants. We need to reduce the class sizes.
Growing labor tensions in Alberta as the government prepares to introduce back-to-work legislation as early as Monday to get striking teachers back in classrooms. That's ahead. Canada's border services say they have made a multi-million-dollar seizure of contraband cigarettes. On September 15th, officers at the Burnaby container facility examined a shipment from China. They found nearly 20,000 cartons of cigarettes worth more than $2.2 million. The CBSA says the amount of duties and taxes evaded make for an additional $2.5 million. As the BCGEU strike continues to impact services across the province, Alberta is facing its own labor showdown. On Monday, the government plans to introduce back-to-work legislation, potentially forcing 50,000 teachers back to the classroom. CTV's Mark Vellani has the details.
Calgary teachers are arriving home after a rally outside Alberta's legislature. It's quiet now, but just hours earlier, they were joined by thousands of other educators, hoping the province heard their calls for action.
If they didn't, they must be tone deaf. Our working conditions, children's learning conditions, we can do better.
We need more teaching assistants. We need to reduce the class sizes. Please listen to us.
Alberta's government says it is listening, offering wage hikes of 12 to 17%, 3,000 new teachers, and 1,500 educational assistants, all of which was rejected. And now Premier Danielle Smith is implementing back-to-work legislation on Monday.
It has an impact on Albertans that we are going to suddenly start using clauses within legislation that restrict our rights.
The Alberta Teachers Association says it hasn't seen the details of the bill and that it's seeking legal counsel to determine next steps as it calls for further negotiations.
Instead of addressing what is the real crisis in education, they are choosing to silence it.
I don't think we should go. No, just saying we're going back with no new deal, it's not sufficient.
But if teachers refuse to go back, it could be deemed illegal.
Is this a signal of an erosion of labor rights?
Labor experts say the legislation could become law by Monday night, compelling teachers to return to classrooms within about 48 hours. At that point, they could either enter binding arbitration with a third-party mediator or challenge the government's bill. If that's successful,
they would then need to proceed to another strike vote to create the conditions by which they could legally strike under the current environment.
But heading back to work without a deal, an unimaginable thought for some teachers.
Just basically a slap in the face.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Police in Calgary are looking for a suspect in a camera store robbery. The suspect made off with $100,000 worth of camera equipment. Unsurprisingly, the robbery was captured on video. Security video from the store shows the thief tearing through the store Thursday morning just before 3. It may look like a random ransacking, but the store believes the thief likely cased out the store beforehand. One employee adds someone attempted to break into the store a couple of weeks prior, and it may have been the same person.
He targeted all the expensive lenses and the bodies, and it was interesting. At first it looked like he was just grabbing whatever, but as we were doing the inventory, we realized that he pretty much left all the cheaper ones.
The business is offering a $5,000 shopping spree in exchange for information that leads to a conviction. It's not just costumes and decor that will cost more this Halloween. The not-so-sweet inflation making treats more pricey. And this is one scared puppy. She was trapped between two massive boulders in California. How crews managed to rescue her. That's next.
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Vancouver, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
Halloween is just around the corner, but many Canadians say the scariest part this year is the rising cost of costumes and decorations. The spooky season is still on. It might just feel a little different, though, as budgets tighten. CTV's Dave Charbonneau explains.
Did you want something like this, or did you want...
For the Torreville family, celebrating Halloween started weeks ago.
I love Halloween. It's like our favorite time of the year. We start decorating in September usually.
Inflation and the Trump tariffs have made costumes more expensive this Halloween.
Too much. Like, I have 4 daughters, and it's like the budget-wise is like $300-400 for costumes, which is pretty hard, yeah.
Latest figures from Statistics Canada show Canadians spend close to $2 billion just on candy and chips.
Make the skies turn orange.
Yet some families are cutting back on spending.
Usually certain neighborhoods you go through, they have so many different decorations all over the place, and they go all out. This year I've noticed not as many people have been decorating, and I think a lot of that factor has to do with prices.
But at Spirit Halloween, business is brisk, despite a cutback on coupon deals.
Unfortunately, the coupons have really minimized this year. They used to do like a month to 2 months of coupons, and this year it's really only like 3 to 4 days at a time. So that's really the way I think they save to keep prices down. This year we have Wicked.
But regardless of the cost, demand is still strong.
It's insane. Insane. I mean, Halloween's on a Friday this year, so there's a bunch of parties. I'm noticing that families are buying different costumes, like 2 at a time, different kinds, because they have a party on Friday and Saturday.
Like the La Fortunes, who have a long-standing tradition of going to the same Halloween party every year.
So the person who hosts this party goes to a lot of effort. Yeah. He sends out an invitation that looks like a professional video production. Wow. And so we like that group of friends, and it's fun. It is fun.
All right, it's $146.88.
And even these longtime Halloween fans say they're feeling the difference in cost.
It's gone up a little bit, yeah. We used to make our costumes, just, you try and pick a thing, and you'd end up making your costumes. This year we're getting lazy, and we decided to come see what we could do. Yeah, we're getting older and lazier. Sure, yeah.
But for the kids, the fun is still front and center, no matter the cost.
I thought of a killer clown, so I'm like, yeah, I want to do a killer clown.
Dave Charbonneau, CTV News.
On top of rising costs for decorations and costumes, Halloween candy is also taking a hit. With cocoa prices more than doubling in the past 2 years, chocolate makers are shrinking portion sizes to cope. The spike is driven by poor weather and crop disease in Ivory Coast and Ghana, which supply more than half of the world's demand for cocoa. Experts say climate change means higher prices could stick around for years. A puppy in the States recently found itself stuck between a rock and a hard place, another rock. Those are the cries of Zoe, a 3-month-old Great Pyrenees puppy. She somehow got trapped between 2 boulders in Southern California, prompting her owner to call 911 for help. Firefighters used pressurized airbags to move the big rocks so they could safely pull Zoe out of the cramped crevice. She was reunited with her owner, unharmed by the rough situation.
She looks so happy there.
Oh, it's amazing how dogs and small children can get into these crazy narrow places and then they can't get out.
No, and then I can't believe they were able to move those boulders to get her out. Amazing.
Great job rescuing Zoe. She looks much happier.
Yes, a happy tale there. All right, let's take a look at our forecast as we head into the weekend. Another wet one on the way. We do have another system just offshore, so right now we're seeing a break with a line of wet weather moving its way in once again as we head through this evening. So here's a look at our storm tracker. Through tonight, we will see some light rain, a little bit of a break through the overnight, and then that system push its way in. Tomorrow morning, we'll see periods of rain throughout the day, throughout tomorrow afternoon, right through until tomorrow night, and it will be heavy at times with winds gusting to about 50 kilometers an hour. So we'll see anywhere between 26 millimeters for Vancouver, North Vancouver, 21 for Squamish, a little less for Pitt Meadows at 17, and even less for the Fraser Valley, 13 millimeters expected for Abbotsford and Chilliwack. You'll see a mix of sun and cloud for Nelson, your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Another soggy day ahead for the North Island. 9 degrees for Port Hardy with periods of rain. That's what you can expect for Campbell River and Comox with highs to 8 degrees. Very wet for the South Island from Tofino right down to Victoria. Cool temperatures as well between 8 and 13 degrees. It'll be soggy for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 10. Cool 5 for Whistler, 7 for Squamish. You'll see anywhere between 15 to 25 millimeters of rain. And for us across the lower mainland, it'll be a wet one. Periods of rain throughout the day. Temperatures between 9 and 13 degrees. And as we head into Sunday, it slowly eases off. We'll still see a few scattered showers. A few sunny breaks will peek through as well. 10 degrees into Monday. We will see cloudy skies with a few showers. That's what we can expect for Tuesday as well. We'll start off cloudy. Rain returns in the afternoon, continuing into Wednesday morning, and then it clears up. A mix of sun and clouds through the afternoon and 12 degrees. Enjoy Thursday, mostly cloudy skies. And as of right now, for the trick-or-treaters, unfortunately, on Friday, 12 degrees, and we will see periods of rain. So have those great costumes with umbrellas handy. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So there are great costumes that I've seen that's an umbrella and it's like a jellyfish. So there you go. You're a costume and you'll stay dry.
I think kids in Vancouver are used to having some rainy Halloweens.
Yeah.
It doesn't really dampen their enthusiasm.
No, you'll still get your candy.
Exactly. All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, with the frenzy to buy World Series tickets, some fans are striking out big time, falling for social media posts that seem like a great deal. Also ahead.
What's next? Are they going to charge you to use the washrooms?
Changes are coming to some WestJet flights that will make things more uncomfortable. What you won't be able to do unless you pay. That's coming up. Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 71 cents to the American dollar. Oil was down 29 cents, closing the day at $61.50 U.S. a barrel. Gold lost nearly $8 on the day. The TSX and the Dow Jones finished higher, up 166 points and 472 points, respectively. WestJet is rolling out a new cabin design, and for some passengers, that means paying more to lean back.
It seems like over the last 20 to 30 years, what airlines have done is sort of piece out different parts of the flight experience and charge customers for different parts. What's next? Are they going to charge you to use the washrooms?
The airline is overhauling 43 Boeing 737 aircraft to remove the reclining option from its economy seats. To sit back, passengers will need to book premium or extended comfort seats. WestJet says the changes will save space, allowing more passengers per flight. The first updated aircraft enters service later this month, with the rest expected early next year. Earlier this week, tickets to see Game 1 of the World Series in Toronto sold out within 30 minutes. But that did not stop fans from trying to get a chance to see this historic matchup, unfortunately leading to some fans being scammed. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
And a swing and a fly ball to left field.
As soon as the Toronto Blue Jays made it clear they were going to the World Series, hundreds of thousands of fans tried to purchase tickets. But when the series sold out in 30 minutes, tickets immediately ended up on reseller sites for a lot more money.
Reached out and said she had 2 tickets, played the story of I can't go all of a sudden. I fell for the story, just in the heat of the moment.
Chris Armstrong of Bowmanville says he bought tickets using Facebook 3 times this year with success, which is why he tried to get a pair for the Jays-Mariners matchup. But he ended up being scammed out of $220. He searched again for the Jays-Dodgers series, and he got a phone call from someone who said they had tickets for the first game.
Called me and said, listen, I got more tickets. I thought of you. Would you be interested in tickets for Game 1 of World Series?
Because Armstrong talked to the seller on the phone, he gave it another try, but this time was scammed out of $300.
After I sent the money, tried to call back the phone number that he provided, and found out the number's not in service anymore.
To avoid ticket scams, only buy from authorized sources, avoid social media sellers, beware prices that are too good to be true, and sellers who pressure you to act quickly, and don't make payments by e-transfer. On StubHub, we found there were still plenty of seats available for the first game of the series. Tickets were selling in the $500 level for about $1,000 to $2,000 each. Of course, the closer to the action, the prices went up. There were also tickets for $4,000, $8,000, and almost $14,000 each. Armstrong says he's still hopeful he can see a game in the series despite being scammed twice.
It's unfortunate that people are doing this to other people.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Your Friday feel-goods are still ahead, including a Saturday morning all-you-can-eat cereal cartoon party. Plus, art returned. Adam finds out what happened after a Victoria man found an unexpected original painting at a liquidation store. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. Right now, here's a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
It's a spooky time of year, but it doesn't have to be terrifying. Monday on Your Morning Vancouver, why this time of year is so stressful for some and how to manage those inner ghosts. Plus, have you signed up for the Mustache Miler yet? How this fun annual event is making a big difference. We'll see you in the morning.
The Vancouver Whitecaps are ready to begin their quest for a first-ever MLS Cup title, and will kick things off in a rematch from the season finale.
Over 300 goals in his career, looking for one more. Muller, yes!
The Caps begin a best-of-3 series against FC Dallas on Sunday in the Western quarterfinals in front of a packed house at BC Place. The team has opened up parts of the upper bowl to accommodate more fans. The two teams split the season series with 1 win each, with Dallas getting the upper hand 2-1 against a 10-man Vancouver side last Saturday. It's the first step towards the MLS Cup on December the 6th. The Muller effect.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, opening up more seats and everything. Okay, the weather's going to be kind of iffy, so it's time for Friday Feel Goods, a weekly roundup of unique events happening in Metro Vancouver. Here are 3 things worth checking out. If you're looking for some frightful fun tonight, Burnaby Central Park has gotten a spooky makeover. It has transformed into Central Spark, where guests can enjoy food trucks, a live DJ, and a drone show, all capped off with a dazzling fireworks display.
That's
fun.
cool.
That looks like fun, and it's free.
Yes.
That's excellent.
And just some little rain, you just have to bring your umbrella.
Yeah, I know a lot of places doing fireworks and Halloween stuff.
Well, trick or treat and all-you-can-eat cereal. This Saturday morning, all-you-can-eat cereal cartoon party is back at the Rio Theater with a spooky twist. Relive your childhood days with a marathon of retro Halloween cartoons, sugary cereal, and vintage commercials this Saturday and Sunday. The costumes and PJs are highly encouraged for the 3-hour trip down memory lane. Just bring your own bowl and your own spoon. And this is a great idea. I think I'm going to take my niece and nephew to that.
Yeah, this brings back so many good memories. Favorite cereal?
Lucky Charms with marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
Good choice.
Frosted Flakes.
Yeah, mine's Crave. It's got the chocolate in the middle. It's so good.
Okay, we all have different ones.
Yeah.
But see, kids these days aren't used to this whole Saturday morning routine.
I'm going to make them watch
They're
for 3
missing
hours.
out.
Yeah.
They'll love this.
Absolutely. Well, forget the Monster Mash. You can do the Monster Dash. Burnaby's annual Halloween-themed 5K returns to Swangard Stadium this Sunday, and costumes are highly encouraged. Whether you're a seasoned runner or just looking for a frightfully good time, the Monster Dash is the perfect way to get into the spirit of Halloween.
What? They're making you run?
I know.
In a costume?
It's a little tough.
That's more work, isn't it?
I think so.
Okay, well, if you have any events you'd like us to highlight, email your tips to CTV Feelgoods at ctv.ca. We'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in just a minute. Craig, first, what's coming up tonight?
Well, let's begin with the Toronto Blue Jays. They are currently playing the Dodgers in the Game 1 of the World Series tonight. We'll have a full highlight package and reaction from that game in Toronto. Also, though, we are tracking a wildfire that is sparked on a Kelowna mountain later this afternoon. You're seeing some images of it right now. Reports indicate that the fire was initially set by a man in the area, and an arrest has been made this afternoon. We will bring you the latest on this developing situation at 11:30. Me, John?
Yeah, you don't expect a wildfire now, but then now you hear that it's been intentionally set.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Craig. Well, from hip waiters to hotel furniture, a liquidation store in Victoria is full of surprises, but one recent find turned out to be priceless. It sparked a cross-province connection and a reunion 45 years in the making. Adam explains in this Encore Sawatsky sign-off.
Leftovers. Although the range of products at his local liquidation store couldn't be more different. So we got some office chairs. From a bunch of furniture to just one pair of hip waders with size 14 boots.
So I got to find the exact right customer for that.
Rory Perrin says the prices are all printed the same.
It's my high-tech pricing system.
Post-it notes?
Post-it notes.
But after a recent hotel liquidation,
this is usually what we get.
Rather than a typical print, Rory discovered a rare original.
I'm not an artist type. Even a guy like me could recognize the beauty of it.
So, instead of putting a post-it on it, Rory started looking on the other side of it and found a couple old newspaper articles profiling a Haida artist named Kinawe Roberta Olson.
So we did a little research on the internet.
And Rory discovered a woman with the same name running a restaurant in faraway Haida Gwaii called Kinawe's Kitchen, and gave her a call.
I was surprised.
Roberta said she hadn't seen the canvas in almost 45 years.
I appreciate what he did, you know, just to remind me of that part of my life a long time ago.
So, the now 83-year-old offered to buy her painting.
You know, maybe we've got something of value here, financial value, but I didn't realize that the value was going to be something different in this case.
Now, Rory never expected that their conversation would be so meaningful, that Roberta's voice sharing the story of her Haida heritage would be so strong that he would feel inspired to give her the painting for free.
It's just a moving feeling to be able to connect two things like that were separated a long time ago.
Roberta's granddaughter, Alicia Henderson, was certainly surprised when she picked up the painting from Rory.
That kind of generosity doesn't come along every day.
And now that it's back in the family, Alicia hopes the news story associated with Roberta's painting will inspire future generations to be generous too.
Continue giving and being kind to others.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
Beautiful painting. I can't believe she was offering to buy her own painting back. But it's nice that he gave it to her.
He's got a good eye. That's a beautiful
I know. I almost,
piece of
when you
art.
first see it, it kind of looks like it could be an Emily Carr.
Yeah.
With the totem pole.
Maybe she'll sell it. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
She should.
All right, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for this Friday night. Cloudy skies in Cole Harbor. Thanks, Megan, for sending this very fall-like picture in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. Email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. Look at those colored trees lining the seawall.
Yeah, makes the gray, nice contrast to the gray skies. All right, thanks for joining us. Craig will be back at 11:30.
Have a good week.